I've been on my own since I was 22. Fresh out of college, I was ready for the wave of real life to wash me over and to take me out deep into a new place where the solitude I was already accustomed to would fit snugly into the grooves of adulthood. Because you see, I really had been alone since I was a child, in foster care, homeless. All the while quietly carrying the heaviness of my own queerness. That kind of weight is much too heavy. No child should bear it. But nevertheless, my little gay knees persisted and they grew stronger until one day I was an adult. And I was alone. But then I asked an AI robot to plan an entire day for me because I'm sure as hell not about to be alone and bored. So what the is ChatGPT? Here's what the website says. We've trained a model called ChatGPT, which interacts in a conversational way. The dialogue format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer follow-up questions, admit its mistakes, challenge incorrect premises, and reject inappropriate requests. Oh, okay. Well, there goes me asking it to hack Ticketmaster to give me front row tickets to the Beyonce concert in Paris. In other words, it's pretty much a magic 8-ball. Let's ask it something. 10 things to have a fun day alone. In a matter of seconds, I have a whole list of things to do and I'm gonna do them all. Now, why the first thing ChatGPT told me to do was to get my funky ass in the shower. But my scalp has been pinching my skull as dry as it was, so this feels like a chance at renewal. You know, water is this really magical resource, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I kind of take it for granted. Only thinking deeply of it at its extremes, you know, when there's very little of it or almost too much of it. If it's steaming hot or frozen. I'm just so thankful for this daily little blessing, you know, the shower. Even if it feels sometimes like a blanket of comfort that disintegrates as soon as it hits my body. It gives me peace and rhythm through my routine. Wash the hair, rinse the hair. Tend to the back knee, rinse the back knee. Wash the beard, rinse the beard, moisturize the hair. Every week, water paces how I live, setting the tempo and generously giving me the lucky opportunity to start over, to refresh. Something so necessary for the girls out there living alone. It's relief from solitude and a release from stank booty. Engage in a favorite hobby or activity like reading, drawing, or gardening. I don't understand. A hobby? What's a hobby? All I ever do is watch TikToks. And edit videos. You know, reading is fun, but I just don't have any page turners right now. Drawing is fun too, but every time I do it, I catch an attitude because what the hell is this? And who the hell is this? And I'm sure I would love gardening, but I don't want to jeopardize my lease planting tomatoes in that little patch of grass in front of my leasing office. So to the tennis court it is. Tennis was the first thing that I joined that gave me a clear sense of belonging. I was like, me? On a team? Oh my God. Which is funny because I would practice a lot alone. Even in the rain, I'd be hitting the ball against the wall at the public tennis courts. And my coach would drive by like, Will, are you crazy? Go home. And I'd be like, I'm practicing, ho. I'm thankful for tennis because it taught me that diligence that I held fast to in my solitude made all the difference later playing with a team. The more personal the game got for each of us, the better we were competing. And that's why I was a part of the first boys varsity tennis team from Marion High to go to play at state championships. We lost, but it was fun. This is literally my worst nightmare. Like, streaming platforms are like really bad thrift stores nowadays. You gotta sift through a lot of bad to find the one good pair of jeans that kind of work with that one shirt you have in your closet that you haven't worn in 2 years. Also, somebody somewhere has my Paramount Plus password, and so my continue watching section is literally the most random stuff, and that annoys me. I usually stick with HBO Max. I've already watched Industry, The White Lotus, House of Dragon, Loads of Spooky, Southside, Watchmen, I May Destroy You, The Rehearsal, Hacks, Barry, Gilded Age, Euphoria, Search Party, Insecure, Succession, and tried watching Sex Lives of College Girls. But I have to say, girl, I just don't care about that show. HBO Max has so much. I think I'm gonna start The Last of Us. I realize I do this thing with TV shows because I can't remember anybody's name. I just name them whatever sticks. You know what I mean? So this girl right here, she's Wash and Go. And these two over here, that's a girl from Game of Thrones and guy from Game of Thrones. Sue me, okay? I don't got a good memory. But I really like this show. For it to be, the first episode, albeit an hour-long episode, it covered a lot of ground straight off the bat. You know what I mean? There's some clues, there's some foreshadowing, lots of motifs I realized throughout the entire show. But even in the first, 15, 20 minutes, I'm not bored because they already got me turned up in the noggin. The pace was good. It wasn't too heavy on the violence, although there is violence. Usually I hate time jumps in the middle of TV shows where it's like, okay, now it's 5 years later and we're supposed to just but they did a really good job of it. Although, why did guy from Game of Thrones go from looking 20 years old, 20 years old to just old? Why they gave him gray hair? Well, I guess after you do the math, he's supposed to be 40 years old. But do you have gray hair when you're 40? Girl, I don't know. The mushrooms coming out people's mouth, I don't need all that. I don't want to see that. That's disgusting. But it's part of the show. I'm going to get through it. Anyway, I'm kind of hungry. Cook or bake something delicious. Oh, this is easy. Let's make brown butter cookies. I make these all the time because they're amazing, duh. 185 grams of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. In a separate bowl, 150 grams of brown sugar, 100 grams of white granulated sugar, 113 grams of butter, but browned. You just pretty much boil it until it turns brown. Cream the wet ingredients and then add 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix that again and then add in your dry ingredients. Add in your chocolate chips, chill for 30 minutes in the refrigerator, bake at 350 for 14 minutes, and you're done. If they don't look like SpongeBob Mama, I don't want it. Ooh. Now that we're all fueled up, ChatGPT told me to go on a hike. My last breakup was a little over a year ago, and I still think about it every single day. My second or third date with this person was on this mountain range. And I haven't told my ex this, but I was actually so scared. Not of the date, but the mountains. I hadn't been hiking for so long up until that point because I had this really traumatic experience hiking up to see the Hollywood sign with one of my friends where this narrow off-trail path kept getting narrower and narrower. One wrong step and I was 7,000 feet down a hole. So fast forward, when we get to one of the peaks of the mountain right here, my heart starts to race. The path was really narrow, my palms were sweaty, and I was hella embarrassed because I wanted this person to like me and they were so into hiking and they knew what they were doing, they were so confident. And to make matters worse, we had come to a part of the path where there was a bend. Couldn't really see where the path went beyond a few rocks. So in my head, I'm like, I don't know. What if the path gets steeper? What if it's more narrow? My ex got their camera out. They told me to wait, went around the bend, and they came back and they had filmed what the path would look like to show me that it was safe. And to calm me down, they held my hand. It was really sweet. And they weren't upset at all when I still said, hell no, I'm not going. But I realized that they weren't only just showing me the path ahead on this steep trail, but kind of the path ahead and the relationship that we would embark on together. Although that relationship is over, I'm so grateful and so thankful for the time that I had with them to get to experience one of the most precious comforts there is on this earth. Even though we don't talk much more, And there were definitely parts of that relationship that weren't fun. I am happy to have this and to be able to re-experience all of the beautiful parts of it. And that's why I hike, ho. Parkour, ho.
No matter where I go, your love is with me. I climbed the highest height and you were there. Why should I be afraid? You go before me. You've seen my darkest night and you weren't scared. 'Cause you never flinch and you never change. Your spirit goes before me as you light my way.
Okay, here's the thing. We got but a few more hours left in the day, and ChatGPT got me baking and hiking and shit. So I'm gonna speed round the next few things. Do a home workout or yoga session, okay? After getting bendy with yoga with Adrian, I realized that yes, I want to do this more often. Because why at my ripe age of 29 are my bones aching and shaking? Next, listen to music or a podcast. Okay, that's easy. 'Cause I feel like falling in love. What's in these four walls? You Mr. Nasty. I clean it up, wanna go where nobody's been. Got me acting hella thotties. Come and cuff it, cuff it, cuff it, cuff it, baby. While I bust it for you, baby. Oh, baby. Do not attempt to leave the dance floor. I'm one of one. I'm number one. Unicorn is the uniform you put on. Eyes on you when you perform. Eyes on I when I put on. Mastermind at Okator. Label horns can't clock, I'm so obscure. I got diamonds beneath my thighs where his ego will find bliss. Unique. Got a lot of bands, got a lot of IV on me. I gotta cool it down. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Make a bummy eat it. Make a pretty girl talk that. Whiskey till I'm tipsy, glitter on my kitty, cool it down, 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 my pretty, but bad bitch, and make a bad bitch glitchy, yada, 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 bum, caca, fan me off, my wrist goes click, dimples on my hips, stretch marks on my tits, flip, flop, flippy, flip, flop. Fan me off, I'm hot, hot, hot. Dripped in my pearls like Coco Chanel. Uncle Johnny made my dress that cheap spandex. She looks a mess. Ooh, okay, this one is interesting. Write in a journal or create something with words. So I'm a poet now. Next thing on the list was to write a poem. So that's what I'm doing. Here's a poem that I wrote about the freedom that I found while riding my bike. Bike rides under baked skies. Golden hour glaze of sweet sweat, the pulp of passion for freedom. Breeze and ease, pedaling through petals colored by time. Cycling through victory and defeat. The ache of pushing past the turbulence. And rounding new corners and splitting wind into a slurry of directionless soup. But a new path, alas, revealed. New flowers and new sun. What was you expecting, huh? One fish, two fish? Obtuse, rubber goose, green moose, guava juice? I let ChatGPT tell me I was funky and to take a shower, but I don't know about this one. Clean and organize your living space. So now I'm messy. Okay, you know what, AI robot? You kind of right. You would think that 5 people live here the way that my kitchen is always a mess. Sometimes I wish I could just be like, oh, it's not my turn to wash dishes today. But because I live alone every day, it's my turn. Still, I think, just like most millennials and anybody who's ever been to Pinterest.com, your space does reflect your mental. The disorder infiltrates the brain, and then your thoughts are all jumbled up. You can't get anything done. So when I clean my kitchen, oh my God, it's like somebody put a battery in my back, and I'm just ready to conquer. Speaking of conquer, I gotta confront these nails. Ugh. Wow. I am so tired. I did not expect ChatGPT, GST. I did not expect to be running around all day. All in the name of not feeling lonely. It's really fitting that the last thing on this list is to kind of have a spa day. And while I don't have the accoutrement for all of that, I do need to clip these nails. Yeah. It's actually so scary I could cut gravel with these. Does anybody know how? Is there like a trick to clipping your nails and not having the nails like fly everywhere? Do the girls know anything about that? Anyway, I'm a little reticent when it comes to this AI situation. I'm almost afraid to ask it all kinds of questions. I've been keeping it real cute because I don't want to get no weird answer from AI and then be scared for the rest of my life. But I did kind of want to take my question about loneliness a little bit deeper. And so I asked it if it had any advice for people who are lonely. And it had an interesting response. So it gave me 10 things. One is to reach out to friends and family members for support and social connection. After like my very first breakup, like 4 years ago, I for the first time experienced like true loneliness. I was totally fine kind of being on my own, but the kind of scary lonely that you don't want to admit. And I remember the only thing that made me feel better was being around my friends. So I flew across the country and I just hung out with my friends, which kind of makes me want to advise everybody that I know to reach out to your friends who are across the country and who don't have like that much community. Because while it might look like they're having a lot of fun online, there's an isolation to it. Leaving your community, trying to start a new one, it's not easy. And when big moments like breakups or loss and grief enter the chat room, it gets really tricky for those people. And it definitely did for me. So number 2 was to volunteer or to get involved in your community to meet new people and to make a positive impact. This is a good one too. I last summer signed up to volunteer to help people who were houseless when it was hot outside, to hand out water, to direct people to resources, because it gets like really hot outside, 120 in Phoenix. And so when you help other people, it feels like you're a part of the fabric of life and community. So I think that's a really good one as well. Number 3 is to pursue new interests and hobbies to find new sources of enjoyment and fulfillment. I joined a pottery class and it changed my life. Practice self-care and engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. For me, it's riding my bike, traveling, going to thrift stores and antique stores. Seek professional help if needed, such as a therapist or a counselor, to work through feelings of loneliness. That's a big one. Girl, navigating loneliness, especially when you don't have community, is so scary. Seek help. Girl, seek treatment, ho. Ain't nothing wrong with it. In fact, it makes all the difference. Consider getting a pet if feasible, as they can provide companionship and unconditional love. I just want to remind myself right now that this is an AI robot. Like, the girl is telling me the real tea. I had a dog named Goose for about 1.5 years, and he was a whole lot of work, but I loved him a lot. And ultimately, while he was companionship, whenever I was lonely, the responsibility of taking care of him was kind of like exacerbating my loneliness, because it didn't really give me space to deal with the emotions that I had. It's just like most responsibilities, like a job or kids, you can't really spill your emotions out into those spaces. So that's always kind of a tricky thing. Number 7 is to utilize technology to stay connected with loved ones and join online communities to meet like-minded individuals. I like this one. Whenever I'm lonely, I definitely hit up my friends on FaceTime, period. Number 8 is to focus on gratitude and positivity and try to see the good in your current situation. Girl, that is easy said, better done, and that is easier said than done. But practicing gratitude every single day, just vocalizing you're so thankful for just the little things that you have, really helps pull you out of sadness. Number 9, make plans for the future to look forward to and give yourself something to work towards. Girl, Beyonce in London in June is one of the few things that's keeping me going. And number 10, remind yourself that feeling lonely is a normal experience and that it is temporary and can be overcome. Shout out to this AI robot. I hope y'all are doing okay out there and that you enjoyed this video. And I hope to see you back here real soon.